God put a mark on the damned that would let others know they are not to be killed. Anyone who harmed the damned would be punished 7 times over. The damned were hidden from God's presence and forced to live out their lives carrying out the punishment of their cursed bloodline. The sin pumped through the veins of one descendant to the next. All bore the same mark. I know that my family carries a cursed bloodline. We were made to face the damned. Our blood makes us special. Our bloodline attracts the damned and gives us the power to fight them. The hunt continues for the one that got away, but my mission beckons me forth. This feeling I have is getting worse. Something pulls me west. I must find out why. I am the last one of us left. The blood of my family runs through my veins, and no one can take that away from me. I am not alone. I am their hope. I promise you, no matter what, come hell or high water, or actual hell itself, I am through with running. Flores Park had better be ready for me.
As long as the credits keep rolling in, life's good.
Hi everyone, welcome to Rip und. I think that's quite apt for today because there's a lot of bad people in the world right now. A lot of bad people. There's a lot of bored women out there talking about how bad the people are.
Yes, per usual.
There's a lot of tears. There's a lot of cope. There's a lot of performative rage, performative outrage,
Plenty.
all over the place. And I don't like to start shows like this on a serious note, but there are some Californians out there, some liberal Californians out there, who might not have Juanita to look after their children for them for the next 4 years. That might not have Jose cutting their lawns. They might have to do physical work for the first time in they might have to actually look after their own children for the first time. This is not okay. This is not okay. Fuck Trump's America. Eric, how you doing? Welcome to Ripping the Silverback.
Oh man, I'm doing good. Busy, but such is life. It's all good. It's been a fun time. A lot of craziness going on. Mm-hmm. Been talking a lot more about politics than I'd like to, but hey, people for whatever reason like to hear me talk about that shit around election time. But outside of that, Rippaverse is, juggling along, got some cool milestones that have been hit. We obviously are in the final week of the Horseman as well. And man, all is good.
Oof. Which has done phenomenally well. My goodness.
Oh yeah, man. 12.5 books sold. Kind of crazy.
Blood Roots, of course, you saw the trailer. That is available. That has also been pumping out. There was last time I saw there was over 4,500 books. That's gone. Maybe more. I don't know how,
it's at about for over 400,000, 430,000, and 7,600 books sold. So,
76.
yeah,
Okay, just a little 76
yeah,
100 books sold
yeah,
there in a week or so.
yeah, in
Okay,
about a
you
week,
know?
a little over a week,
Yeah, no drama. Oscar's smacking it out the park again.
again,
Again.
Chuck
Dixon's smacking it out the park again.
Yep, you know it.
I know.
You know it.
Hey. Chuck used to be somebody, he used to be someone. Yeah.
Hey man, not everybody can just do this so easily and just sell over 10,000 copies of a book and just like it's nothing. With a brand new character too.
I know. Well, I mean, Bloodruth. I mean, these are all brand new characters.
Yeah, I mean, in the context, all of them are brand new characters, right?
Yeah.
In the
This
proper
guy's
context.
a brand new character.
Yeah, I sell new character. Like we're not fucking 2 decades in on this,
Yeah. Yeah, when you got offshoots and other brands and whatever. When you're like 40, you're still fucking young, but I remember when I was 10 years ago in the Great War of Trumpites and Shires. I did a little comic book, it's called Dice.
Yeah, we're not that far removed. It's kind of crazy to think about that was just 2 years ago when that book first launched. So
yeah. Just a couple of months or so over 2 years.
Yeah. It wasn't
things are a little different.
Yeah. It's crazy. But yeah, man, it is seriously awesome to see. I mean, obviously staying power of Rippaverse, but it's obviously not just it's not a one-man band here. And to see the Saskas and Chuck have these also very successful collections here. I mean, Gooding obviously was the first collection that we did, and that got like 10,000 books sold. So for us to have other writers also getting in on the fun and having these successful projects really just really speaks to the brand itself and the creators that are involved in it, man. And that's awesome.
Yeah, this is the talent that you've got on. You've got your Chuck Dixon's on, you've got your Mike Barron's on, you got your Soska sisters. I mean, they were a new entity for me when I read No Restraints Play, of course, which I've got part 1 graded there. That was a hell of an eye opener. I was like, I get why he's, I get this, Mike, of course, and Chuck. And I say this with reverence. I don't say this with any, they are seasoned veterans.
Yeah, most definitely.
So it's just like, okay. And then, yourself stepping up. I mean, Ison was you.
Yeah.
I mean, it was you and it was your story and it was your idea. And, I've said on streams, and I'll say it to your face. I saw a significant change between Ison 1 and Ison 2's writing.
Yeah.
And it was great to see. It's great to see.
Yeah.
I thought it's like the Ison 1 started off solid enough, but reading that second one, I thought, oh, okay, yeah. This guy's been doing his homework, and he's been, he's been clearly speaking to people like Chuck and taking on board advice and whatnot.
Absolutely,
and
100%.
So Ison 3,
oh man, yeah, you guys are gonna really enjoy that book. But again, I think that, and by the way, shout out to Neurotic. I know they just rated us, so big shout out. I see everybody in the chat mentioning it. But yeah, I mean, it's an interesting spot, right, to be in. You start this company, it blows up beyond your just wildest dreams, and then you get to soak up knowledge and game from. I mean, first it was obviously Chuck, right? It was like, and he is as seasoned as it comes. He's accomplished, and also open to like letting me know, like, okay, what is it that I see, how that thing can improve as well. And I learned a lot. There's a collaborative project. I think I've mentioned this before in the past. There's a collaborative project that him and I are working on, or have been working on, and there are specific instances where it's not just, hey, this doesn't make sense, we shouldn't do it, or we should do it. It's okay, maybe this is a better alternative to what we were doing, but this is why, which is the important part of learning, right? Is understanding what is the reason why this is either a problem or how it can be improved. Like, why exactly are we doing that? Is it just changing for changing's sake, or is it changing for a legitimate reason? And sometimes you can't even see it. It's not even in that story, right? You're dealing with an entire universe here, right? So everything that you do has a consequence, right? Everything that you do has its consequences, and those things need to be taken into consideration as your right hand. This is all knowledge that I got obviously to soak in, and that's what I think is so fun about the Rippaverse, because we have people that have been around the block with like a Chuck and Saska's and Mike and others, but we also have that kind of newer talent, like again myself, as well as hell, the artist on Blood Ruth, Michael Montanai, who's a fan art contest winner, phenomenal, and I think that just makes for just a great company in general, and it makes it also fun for the audience for sure.
Yes, sir. I mean, I got an idea for you. It's chappy. He's called Some Ice.
Some Ice. Okay.
Yeah. He's the Bizarro Isom. You can have that for free.
All right, gotcha. I appreciate that.
You can have that for free.
Locking it in.
Yeah, lock that one in. Looking forward to my contract.
That's good.
Something like that. Anyway, look, I don't want to make it political, but my timeline is full of crazy people. I mean, in all fairness, my timeline's full of people laughing at crazy people, which makes it funny to look at. But as I just did my little thing at the beginning, some of the absolutely tone deaf levels of cope is crazy. I saw, well, number one, I'll just go through a couple. Let's take Whoopi Goldberg as an example, right? Whoopi Goldberg, folks, if you didn't know, said that due to Trump winning the election, she's going to have to carry on working at The View to make money.
Oh no.
I know. She's good. She can't live off that whatever millions of dollars contract it is that she has a year with The View. Because Trump's won the election, she can't retire. She can't afford to do that. She's going to have to continue to work for millions of dollars a year at The View. And so thoughts and prayers to Whoopi Goldberg. I saw some twat who said due to the deportation policies which Trump wants to bring in, who's going to raise your children?
That's amazing, man.
I mean, I thought the mothers and fathers. I mean, that was the first thing that immediately sprung into my mind.
That's what you think.
Yeah, that's what. But this is where we are. Who's gonna raise these poor millionaire elite, champagne socialist children? Huh?
Right.
Them?
No.
Are you kidding me?
Be responsible parents. Are you crazy?
Yeah. Are you gonna bond with your kid? No.
Do your job.
Yeah. Juanita, don't go.
That's crazy, though. I mean, that is also true. I mean, they're not raising their own children for the most part, anyway. I think we already knew that, but yeah, it's watching these, and I'm sure we have examples, but that's been my timeline as well. And I speak on stuff at the Blaze, and we're always talking about like a new meltdown. I don't know if people watched some of even my videos and streams where we went over like some of the View's initial reaction to this stuff. And you got them being so angry. They're angry at Elon, but the reason why they're so angry at him. I mean, they're literally calling for regulation of social media, and it's because of and think about that, right? And even when you hear like, hey, these guys are supposedly going to Twitter, even though apparently the numbers are saying that Twitter's usage rate has never been higher, but supposedly they're going to their echo chamber and this blue sky, right? Spot. Now think about this, right? They're not leaving, or they're not. They don't have an issue with Twitter because of like suppression, right? They have an issue because it was the first big prominent platform that basically leveled the playing field for the most part, where they could speak like they had already been able to do, but now their ideological enemies can speak without fear of being banned, at least in comparison to what it was before Elon obviously took over. And that in itself just makes them irate, and they're so upset at Elon just at the sheer idea that they that the playing field is level. But that's the thing, and it goes to speak to their narcissism, because they believe that the truth must come from them, and anything that is coming from, again, the people that they've deemed as the unfavorables is false. It's disinformation, it's misinformation, it's all these other buzz terms, because they are gospel. And imagine being having your nose stuck so far up the air that you think that the truth isn't the truth unless it comes from you.
I hear you. I would say this does not level the playing field at all, right? Because this is, if Twitter or X now is a singular entity, you just look at every single other one-sided, lopsided, MSNBC, CNN, you go on, Facebook, which was at one point, of course, obviously the biggest social media platform on planet Earth, Instagram, which is owned by Facebook as well. Every single, all the mainstream newspapers, publications, Washington Post, etc., all of that, and Twitter/X just became the only bastion. This is almost like the singular because even Fox was just completely fucking turning into.
Yeah, for sure. Definitely after the 2020 one.
Fox was like this.
Well, yeah, the wind's blowing that way.
Yeah, the wind's blowing that way. Okay. So Elon coming along and actually purchasing Twitter, converting it into X, that just left sort of one base, like it's fucking Battle of Helm's Deep.
Yeah,
it was like Helm's Deep, surrounded by just armies and armies and armies of orcs, and there was Elon popping along, and then in the morning, maybe Joe Rogan turned up on the hillside with the Rohirrim and came charging into the flank of the orcs.
Yeah,
but it's this one singular platform. Now you take X, Twitter, whatever you want to call it. You take that and you revert it back into the hands of the fucking crazies that had it before, the corrupt elitists that they had before. There's nowhere. So that's why it's being attacked at like left, right, and center. That's why they want to regulate him. That's why they want to do censor him, all kinds of shit to him. Because if it falls, then everything's fallen. Yeah, there is no alternative.
Look, that was such a, and I don't think anybody could have necessarily predicted it when it happened, just how important that move was with him purchasing it, making it a completely private entity again, and basically saying, look, you guys can say for the most part, right, within reason, whatever the fuck you guys want to, and we're for sure not going to suppress people just based purely on political favoritism. Like, I think the Twitter files, and I know we kind of just brushed past that, but that was a very significant finding. You had the government like working hand in hand, right, with a major platform, either suppressing information, either influencing policy, right? And by suppressing, I'm referring, I think the big one was that we know that was confirmed because even Zuckerberg and them confirmed it with what was happening with them, was the Hunter Biden laptop story.
Yeah,
right?
Yeah.
Where you're purposely suppressing that information because of who it demonized. And a lot of that was coming from, again, governmental officials. Okay. And now you had that fundamentally changed. And it wasn't like he was like, okay, I'm going to flip it on the other end, where he was like, yeah, I'm going to just make it to where it's just more or less a right wing echo chamber. That wasn't what happened. He just said, look, okay, we're just going to let y'all, for the most part, just be able to say whatever. So the leftists can continue to act as deranged as they were.
And they
before.
do.
And they do, right? There's no shortage.
Yeah, it's, you know, you see some leftists say it's the most horrendous thing.
Yeah.
Just from a normal human being aspect. You're like, oh my God. And then you'll look and it'll be like 120,000 likes. And you're like,
so they're still saying what they can say.
Yeah.
Right. The difference, the primary difference is that now, well, the people that they again have considered ideological opposites of them, or have been considered that, can now do the same. Right. And that just, it completely, as far as the digital conversation, it completely changed everything. And like I said, I didn't even see it was going to be that like monumental and that like significant, that it was going to change is how we converse now. Because, you know, and I think once you realize that, okay, because I know you saw people's pages, like even with yours, pages starting to return, right? Because people were able to submit.
I was banned. Yeah,
exactly. You were banned and able to get your page. Yeah. And I think, you know, it was like, because I can even speak for myself, you realize how much you self-censor, even if you were doing it, again, it was like, you weren't really necessarily conscious of it, right? You were just doing it because you knew, damn, if I say this, man, this might mean that I'm going to get my page taken down.
Well, we very consciously self-censor here.
Yeah. Oh, we have to, right?
There's certain words that you can't say due to the algorithm. So we have to dance around them. We have to say things like self-delete, rape. You know, we say things like that, and then sometimes we just don't care. But then we get ourselves a yellow button. Yeah, you know.
Yeah. So it happens, but you don't realize how much you do it until, well, you don't have to necessarily do that anymore. And I think that's what happened with Twitter. So you had a lot of normies that were maybe part of the digital conversation seeing for the first time in a long time the alternative to the leftists, right? And they were realizing, like, even if, again, consciously they kind of understood at least that, man, something ain't right. Like, this shit is fucked. Well, now people can explain it to them and they can see, okay, so I know I wasn't damn crazy. But that in itself just made the authoritarian left so angry at Elon. And that's really why they were mad. It wasn't that it was something that specifically he had said, or it was something that he did. I guess I guess he kind of did something, but it was more just allowing people to just speak relatively as free as their ideological opposites, and that just pisses them off so much, to the point to where, going back to the original point, the View are talking about we need regulation of it because, and it's like, why? Oh, well, because you're the people that you consider your opposition is able to speak like you are. Well, like, imagine that.
This is right, okay, but we are very unfortunately not in a time where let's just say I'll try and use an analogy which the American audience might appreciate as well. It's not as if it's the Bills versus the Patriots, right? Where of course you got your team that you want to support, but it's healthy competition. And if you lose, maybe you'll get them later in the season. If you don't get them that season, maybe next season. This has got to the point now where and this is thanks to all the mainstream media, by the way, that there has been such a demonization of one side.
Yeah, correct.
Because they have controlled all the media.
Correct.
This is no longer kind of two tribes going to war. This is there is one existence and the other one shouldn't even exist.
Correct.
So there is an attitude out there of how dare they even have the right to exist. I mean, we saw the fucking retarded shit from Cuckboy STD Ridden Destiny, with his we just should kill all conservatives. Should still be killed. And that's meant to be the tolerant voice of the left, apparently. It's got to a point where it's not even a healthy competition, or it's not even we can disagree on certain things, but we live our lives together. It's now got to such a divisive point where they are trying to literally separate people into mutual and unmutual, as the prisoner would do it. And one side gets to exist and the other side doesn't get to exist.
Right.
You get taught like this. I want to go into there's a lovely lady. She's called Rachel Zegler. She's been known for being such a wonderful, lovely. No, she's
really selling films.
Oh yeah, she's. I don't think she's made a. I think her Hunger Games movie might have made a little profit, and I think that's the only movie that she's ever been in that's made any profit whatsoever. She's set to be in one of the biggest turkeys of next year, which is Snow Brown and the 7 Seattle Baristas. But once again, Rachel Zegler can't shut her fucking mouth, this is what I do like about her, actually. This is legit. I'm not even joking. One thing I do like about Rachel Zegler is that she's so brainwashed and retarded that she can't shut her fucking mouth. So you know that when she says something, it's going to be the dumbest of fuckery. And you're going to get some content out of her because, my God, she's fucking... Anyway, so she pops this on one of the platforms where probably Instagram by the looks of the screenshot. I find myself speechless in the midst of this. Another 4 years of hatred leaning us towards a world I do not want to live in. Well, Rachel, I'm just going to say this. Nobody's stopping you. Okay? Nobody's stopping you. But if that is your true feelings, I would say get help
immediately
and lots of it. Leaning us towards a world that will be hard to raise my daughter in. What if you have a son? What if you have a son?
Yeah.
What did you say, child? She's not pregnant. Why did you say my child? It's just fucking awful. Anyway. Leaning us towards a world that will force her to have a baby she doesn't want. Well, abortion isn't contraception, okay?
Oh, it's not. Like, we talked about this last week, as like that is the one issue that you can't even say that's the hill that they are dying on, because the only place the person's dying is the damn child.
Yeah.
But unfortunately, they tie rights to that one thing. Like, that's it. So therefore, you cannot freely up to 24 fucking weeks kill a child, right? And therefore, you're being suppressed as an individual, and therefore it's difficult to, as if there's no alternative, as if that's the only way to live, whereas if you're just constantly having fucking abortions. It's just such a bizarre thing, and they tie everything, their entire existence, right, is as a females, right? Which, again, good luck for them defining that, because it doesn't seem that they're able to do that. But their whole, I guess, womanhood is tied to the ability to kill their children. That's fucking crazy.
And there's been lots of that, you know. Maybe it wasn't the policy. Maybe it wasn't the policy to really go out there with.
Yeah. Right.
You know, because I'm not saying it's an easy topic, because there's a lot of gray areas, for sure. You know, when you can go into things like rape and abuse and stuff like that.
Which, you know, that's not what they're talking about.
But that's just it. We kind of get. I think we're much more leaning into the. I personally believe we're much more leaning into the fact where they think that abortion is some sort of contraception.
Yeah. It's basically as if you fall on a penis and then you get pregnant.
Yes.
So it's purely accident, right?
Yeah. And, oh my gosh, how did that happen?
How in the world did that happen, right? And you know, they unfortunately appeal to these like very unfortunate situations, right? Which obviously nobody's even talking about, like in the instance of a miscarriage or a again, like to your point, like forced, actual acts of aggression, right? Assault and abuse, and that having you end up being pregnant, and that only represents 0.05% of the people that are getting these anyway, but they act like that's the only position. But so it is, I think, to your point, they treat it like it's actual contraception, which is insane.
Leaning goes towards a world that is fearful. It's not. It's a wonderful place. All you have to do is go outside. It's crazy. Buy a Transformer or some G.I. Joe. It's really cool. I do. This is a cool collection thing. Buy a comic. Buy Isom.
Yeah.
Buy Bloodruth or The Horseman out now. I shouldn't be this shocked. No, correct. But I am. I am heartbroken for my friends who awoke in fear this morning by a packet of condoms. And I'm here with you to cry, to yell, to hug. Shave your head. Shave your head. To wax poetic, oh God, on how the left continues to fail us in forging a new path.
And what is that? What is that new path for? Like unlimited abortions? Like seriously, like what does it look like? Like what does that look like when you talk about this new path forward?
Yeah,
right. And like I say, like Trump is far more pro abort, and I use that loosely, than they give him credit for. Anyway, I mean, hell, there was a big fallout on him. Not, I guess the quote unquote right wasn't fond of him, like not taking a really stern position on that. But they act like, for one, he just is sweepingly going to make it completely illegal to have it under any circumstance. But it's like, what does that's my question? What does a new path forward look like to them? Is that truly it? Rachel Zegler, unlimited fucking abortions under any circumstance, right? Because I mean, I don't know how they're handling it out there where you are at, but as you'd be surprised just how you can have basically a full fucking function in some of these states, a full fucking child in your damn stomach and get away with offing it.
I don't know what the laws are surrounding it in the UK at the moment. But yeah, I've seen some. Wasn't there one that was pushing for? Basically, it'd be a post basically post birth. Yeah, post birth abort. Yes. That's fucking crazy. Which is just murder. It's murder. That's Jesus Christ. Just put out for adoption or something, for Christ's sake. Fucking murder. Call it what that shit is, man. But that's what I'm saying. Like, what is it full like Moloch child sacrifice? Is that what this looks like, Rachel Zegler? Is that what it looks like? Maybe Bohemian Grow's not getting its quota. Well, I don't know. Apparently. This loss should not have been. And it certainly should not have been by so many votes. Going back to what I just said, they feel like they have a monopoly on like righteousness. Right? Isn't even Amanda? Sorry, I'm getting my Mandela Stenbergs and my Rachel Zeglers confused right now. Isn't Rachel Zegler herself though just saying right now that there was a big loss? It was a huge loss. Yeah, it was. Yeah. When you look at the electoral votes, I think Trump ended on 312. They thought that they were because that's why they were against the electoral college for a while there, is because they could lean back on the popular vote, but they lost that shit too. They lost that as well. Isn't that the time where you actually stand back and reflect? And you say, why? That's a rational person. Why did well, exactly. I mean, we're not dealing with fucking rational people. That's just half the point. Because the way that she ends this is hilarious, and I love the fact that she's still employed. But this is one of those times where you should take a bit of reflection and stand back and go, right, okay, so why? That's when you open up dialogue. That's when you open up dialogue and you start to try and understand, and that's when you start to find your commonalities. But that's they don't want commonalities; they want capitulation. Well, remember going back to The View and CNN and all that, MSNBC,
you'd have speakers on there, the Joy Reids of the world, saying that Kamala ran a perfect campaign, right? So they've, like I said, there is no self-reflection. There's no self-awareness. There's no, hey, are we the baddies? They don't have that conversation with themselves. It's everybody else was wrong.
Yes.
And we failed them in the future that they wanted us to have. And it's not, maybe people don't want that future. Maybe that's worse off. Maybe you are the ones that are incorrect. It doesn't even like, they don't process that at all. It's something else is wrong. Everybody else is wrong.
Yeah, maybe they don't want millions of illegal, undocumented people coming into the country with the right to vote, taking resources away from Americans that need it, particularly with things like Florida getting hit and other horrendous things which have been happening in some of the other states.
And shit,
with the amount of money that's being brazenly and openly sent away to foreign countries, particularly Ukraine, in their money laundering scheme there. And maybe people are just sick of that. I mean, just from an outsider looking in, I could understand why people would not want that. I wouldn't. In the UK, I would be up in arms if the UK government said, "Oh, by the way, anyone who just comes into the country now can just vote." No. Why? We've already lost London. London's already a lost. It's a principality as far as I'm concerned. It's got nothing to do with the fucking UK. But let's just end Rachel's little diatribe.
Yeah.
I echo Ethel Kane's statement more than anything. May Trump supporters and Trump voters and Trump himself never know peace. But, ladies and gentlemen, the tolerant left.
And I know it may seem like a fucking broken record because we just were talking about Hollywood and everything last week and how they view things and how fucking just absolutely deranged that they are. Discussing the mystique of entertainers just got completely gutted. And they are going on. I mean, this is a prime example of, if you want to understand why the movie star doesn't exist, why entertainers don't have the mass appeal and everything even more. Look at this. This is a prime example of what I've been talking about over the last basically decade. In that once upon a time, especially with political positions, you had, hell, they would especially under the advice of their own like advisors and publicists, they usually stayed away from these types of issues, or it was buried in some like magazine that nobody was reading, right? And now it's different. It's far more front facing. You will post on your own Instagram for everybody to see, right? And because everybody has their faces kind of glued to their phones, they see all of that, right? And these mini computers, right? They see all of that. So the mystique got completely removed. And now we know, and look, you can say for better or for worse. I say for better because, hell, I'd rather know who these people actually are anyway. But I also say that's that double-edged sword, because now that people know who they are, you got people being far more selective with who they're giving their money to. I think I look at that as like it's a good thing. It's not necessarily good for them. Because Rachel Zegler, you're already off to the wrong foot, right? You've said you put your foot in your mouth several times, right? And you have this massive movie that was supposed to come out, that it is again still on schedule, I imagine, to come out, and you are doing yourself in, right? You're doing yourself in by posting some of this. It's like they don't even consider maybe people that would be intrigued because they have children, right, to go take their children. And it's not even about like me going in there and watching Snow White. It's like, no, it's like these people have family members. They have nieces, they have nephews, they have little kinfolk. They have, again, their own children that they may go take to this, right? Is this the person that I want my child maybe looking up to? Probably not. right?
Oh God, no, I no.
But on a serious note, it's like, dude, you're talking about half the voting population. You don't think half of the voting population would be intrigued by taking their daughters to go see a Snow White movie? What the fuck are you doing?
Well,
Does that even cross her mind? I guess is my question.
No. Well, if it has crossed her mind, she doesn't care.
She doesn't give a fuck. Yeah,
But I would say from what she's said in the past, she doesn't care. I think there's only one person that Rachel Zegler gives a shit about in the world, and it's Rachel fucking Zegler. She's a spoiled elite piece of shit. She's a see you next Tuesday, which I posted on Twitter. She always has been. She's always displayed this utter lack of self-awareness, disdain, this elitism, looking down upon people. I think it's very naive is the nicest word that I can say. I think it's very naive that they think that just because you may lean towards a certain side that you support all that policy. I think there'd be quite a lot of women who are left leaning, who would not be okay with this very bizarre push,
bro.
About
She said,
on the abortion front.
Just maybe somebody got here late. Maybe they can't see it. Read the last sentence on this again. Ash.
Okay, I echo Ethel Kane's statement. More than anything, may Trump supporters and Trump voters and Trump himself never know peace.
It's fucking insane.
74 million people.
That she explicitly states she hopes that you never not hope. She said, may you never
know peace. Never know peace. Because my if I don't keep my leg closed and let's just be nicer. Let's be nicer. If I don't act in a more responsible manner and take responsibility for my own actions, then I may have to do a thing. I might have to kill a baby.
Yeah, maybe that's it.
Yeah,
and everything rests upon that. Which a world that will force her to have a baby she doesn't want, and it's not just the religious aspect of it all, but I hate to hear people treating babies as if they're like an inconvenience like that to them, right? Like I don't like that. Just the whole rhetoric around that, leaning us towards like having a baby is a beautiful thing, right? Nonetheless, and I say this as someone who has someone that is close to my family who has been attempting to have one and unfortunately has been, again, her and her husband have been unlucky. Let's just say that.
Yeah.
And to like sit up here and be like, you don't want to have that. Like, like, for example, like as if babies can just fucking, I don't know, you wave a wand or some shit and it just pops up. Like, it's not how it works. But like this whole idea, like, hey, not wanting a baby in itself, as in like you're forced to have it, is just that whole rhetoric. It just doesn't sit well with me at all. But then to turn that around and say that you hope that half of the voting population never knows peace, woman, you get everything you fucking deserve. If this movie if they pay out the wazoo for this movie and they don't see a dime from that, and then you end up unfortunately like not being hired maybe again because of that, that will be your own doing. Because I just can't imagine someone having such a big movie like that, and then that's about to drop, and then you say you hope that they never know peace.
Well, I mean, this is like, take this comment, this ignorant comment here. As and like 50 is like 50 and doesn't have kids. I don't think he can speak on it. Yes, you can.
Yeah,
you can very much speak
why
on it. Yeah. Why can't you speak on it?
Family members? Do you not have like? That's such a nonsensical approach.
Of course it is. It's because I tell you what it is. It's because if you just say, "Oh, well, only women can have babies," ergo only women can speak upon it. No, to make a baby, you don't just have to have a woman. There's a man that's involved. Maybe you should look into sex education and fertilization, because it actually takes two to create a baby. Just one of them carries the baby, the female carries the baby, the birth rates are dropping in the West. They're critical in some countries like Japan. The birth rate is absolutely critical. We are dealing with people who are talking about the murdering of babies up to certain 24 weeks. That's 6 odd months.
That's fucking crazy.
Which is, starting to really form a baby.
It's a baby in your stomach at that point.
So we are talking about a moral. We are talking about morality here. Okay. And we're talking about how it's utilized and used. And as we've already discussed, there are absolutely, I would say, occasions where it could come into effect with things like abuse, with things like rape, with, there's certain cultures that do certain things, shall we say, which is complete and utterly unfair to the lady. One thing that we have discussed also is the fact that it is certainly being used and discussed as if it's some sort of just contraception.
Yeah.
And that is, I think that's when it goes into a morality point, very much a morality point. So, yeah, you can speak on as an uncle, and I am an uncle with my sister having a beautiful child, and she had one later in life, and she had some unfortunate attempts.
It happens a lot. A lot more often than I think people understand, which is why again that just doesn't sit well with me when I say this whole forced to have a baby and that she doesn't want.
And the pain to see a loved one, or the pain just to see anyone dude. who's gone through something like a miscarriage or something like that.
Yeah, shit sucks.
And then you have people just sort of wanting to dispose. Dispose due to whatever reason, I think it's fine that we all can speak on it, and I think it's exceedingly ignorant and close-minded when you're saying, well, oh my god, I don't think you can speak on it because oh my god. But better next time on that one.
Yes. But again, going back to the original point, it just doesn't make sense that someone, or again, I guess I asked the question, does she not know? But I mean, I think it's even worse than that. She does know. She just doesn't give a fuck, which why do you bring this person on? Because I can't imagine that a Disney's just looking at this. I mean, maybe they're all retards, to be fair, and they're all in on it.
I think the trends. I think there are trends which they latch onto.
Yeah.
This is the big thing this time. We've seen the latching on with the Twitter, with the free speech aspect. We see whatever the talking point is, whatever the buzz point is that they think will get them some sort of social clout. Or some sort of elevation with their own political side, there was a term we use. It's called virtue signaling, and it is currency. And there's no better currency on the internet than attention. And if you get their attention, you play the game that you can play it the way you think it works, but she plays it clearly from a very dumb as fuck perspective, because she doesn't understand that, let's just say, those 74 million people that voted for the way that she wants them to never have peace have a lot of families, have children.
All right.
And something as wholesome, or should be as wholesome,
supposed to be,
as Snow White, which in itself is now being politicized, as we've seen from the interviews that she's conducted, then they should be the target audience. But the more you say shit like this, the more that gets alienated, the more people that get alienated, the more your films fail. The more your films fail, the more we laugh. The more we laugh, the more people get woken up to why things like this are failing miserably, why the mainstream, CNN's falling apart right now, mainstream media's falling apart right now.
People about to get cut. It's insane. But think about that also just from a demographic standpoint, that side, and even especially on the subject matter that she's alluding to in that first paragraph, which is baby killing. Obviously, I mean, again, just looking at it from a demographic standpoint, they are far more likely, the people that she's saying never know peace, to have a family that they care about, right? Like, so you're talking about the quote unquote right, which is far more pro family than the authoritarian left, right? Especially on that issue again that you talked about in the first paragraph. So you're shooting yourself in your own foot just from a numbers game, because those are the people that would be more likely to take someone to see the film that you're acting in.
But it's yeah.
The fuck? So that's just logically mathematics. It just doesn't make sense why you would do that. Just from a demographic standpoint, that is illogical. You are pissing off who I would argue is your actual target audience.
I would say I would sort of be more inclined to be down the I just don't get it. But this is not the first time she's spoken out around the film of Snow White in terms of that's her next big film, saying the dumbest of fucking stuff. Essentially, you could clearly tell that somebody at Disney got the call,
right?
That her management team came in and went, Rachel, okay, we've been told to shut the fuck up. Because there was a big period of silence because she was just damaging the film with all the shit that she was saying about what the Snow White film was going to represent, and it's no longer about true love; it's about being the person, the leader that she thinks she could be.
Weird.
Calling him the prince a stalker, pushing all this fucking feminist agenda, just really kind of turning people off, and then just being an obnoxious fucking asshole, throughout that people eventually just had to tell her to shut up. So her coming out with a statement like this to me is just like, because this is thank you. Can a real Rachel Zegler please stand up? and this is her. She is stupid. She's ignorant. She's elitist. She looks down upon people. But this is what happens when you live a privileged life. This is what happens when you're in an industry that treats you like you're some kind of god when you're not. This is what happens when you're young and you get a taste of power and you get a taste of the camera and all this. She's literally the poster child of how not to respond as a public figure. And it's wonderful to see.
It is. It's an example of what not to do. It's a foolish thing to, especially in her position, right? You're not part of some like niche thing, and like I said, just understanding what's on the line, and the major film that you are acting in. It is especially stupid to say something like this, right? It's just dumb because you're telling your target audience, again, the side that is more likely to have a child in the first place that they will want to take to go see Snow White, is stupid. It is just dumb. It is illogical. And I can only come to one or two different conclusions. Either the one that you came to, kind of with she knows potentially, just doesn't give a fuck, or all the folks over at Disney are just in on it. And like her leadership, or the obviously executives, everybody's in on it, and they agree with this sentiment because they've been I guess incapable of relaying that message effectively to tell her, hey, Rachel, you got your opinions. Maybe they're even bad opinions. Hell, in the case of Disney, I'm willing to bet they agree with you for the most part, but you probably shouldn't be saying this when you're ahead of about to, I don't know, put out a major film. And just because you're a little pissy because the child that you would have, and you would only have a child if you didn't abort the damn child, could potentially not be able to have a child. Like, imagine that fucking logic, right? Because in order for you to be in the position that you are talking about in the first damn paragraph, you can't abort the damn daughter. And that's if you had one in the first place when you had children. This is why the guy that said the comment earlier was fucking retarded, because he's saying that you can't speak on something because you're not a parent. She's not one yet either.
No.
Yet she's sitting there saying that, oh, well, because her daughter might not be able to, I don't know, kill a child. She hopes that Trump supporters and Trump himself do like never know peace, which again is just It's an
I think
insane
it's
position to have.
I think it's fair to say that because we know the policies of the politics of Disney. We saw that with Gina Carano. We've seen the leaked footage come out. We've seen the not so gay agenda. We've seen all of it. We know Kathleen Kennedy, her cabal of feminist fucking assholes. We know all about it. So I don't think there's anything in denying, particularly in Hollywood. We've seen it all from the Mark Ruffalo's crying and fucking hell. I just licked my monitor when I saw that. For all the, they're very much leaning in one direction, right? So I get that. So I get there's going to be a lot of disappointment within Hollywood circles that their football team didn't win. So I get that, right? I think this is where Rachel's ignorance comes in, because she sees that and she sees it as a moment to take the spotlight. But instead of just maybe putting out a statement or just saying something that disappointed that we didn't win, maybe we need to regroup. Yeah, look, see why lost by such a margin. Something that was just kind of understandable that I can understand any statement from a lefty that came out that was just like, disappointed, upset. But this is a time that we have to now reflect and look, and fingers crossed we come back stronger in 4 years. I'll get that. I understand that all day long. But I think she sees that, and she sees it as an opportunity to. I don't think she has that sort of that filter. She sees everyone disappointed around her within her industry, because her industry is very much leaning towards this avenue. She sees the videos coming out from the actors crying and all this kind of stuff. And so it becomes performative. I'd say outrage. The way that she's ended it kind of points that she's outraged. But it does be it looks like they want to one up themselves. Somebody comes out and they're disappointed. Another celebrity comes out and they shed a tear. Rachel comes out and now she's just like, I hope they never find peace.
That's crazy.
I think it's sort of like an escalatory one-upsmanship of who could be the most upset. Who could be the most upset that their football team didn't fucking win? It's just like,
I don't get it, man. It's bizarre, but it's certainly a move. And look, I think it goes to show what I talked about last week, the video that I released on the video that I recorded before the election was even over, or had been decided, because I knew what this was going to be. It's trending in that direction. And that is that if you didn't already think that these were insufferable people making insufferable things, I think that my guess, in terms of my observation, will it be wildly rejected? Yes. But I think the effort is still going to be there, that with entertainment it is going to be even worse than what we saw post 2016. You're going to get Dragon Age on steroids, Concord on steroids. You're going to get Dustborn on steroids. You're going to get everything that we've mocked and shamed over the last 8 years on steroids, because they don't know any other way. These are not the words of someone that has learned jack shit. These are not the words of someone that will properly assess a situation and understand that maybe some of the moves that we made in the past did us in. These are spiteful people. These are people that want revenge. These are people that react. So I guess, and I'm not going out on a limb actually saying this, I just believe this is going to be the case, that it's going to get a lot worse. And I can't even say before it gets better, because I don't think it's going to get better. I just think that Hollywood is an old, broken, archaic mess, and that's where it's just going to forever remain. And I think that if there's going to be alternatives in film and in television, like I guess on television, I'm saying like more short form shows, it's going to happen in the independent sector, in a smaller sector, and it's not going to be attached to these clowns because they don't know any other way.
I mean, video games we'll talk about video games in a moment. Video games, it's going to take longer to pivot with them because, of course, the development time on a video game now tends to be, I think on average around 5 to 7 years, and that's on average. So whether or not they decide to go down that route when the Western gaming industry already is starting to crumble massively, particularly with this DEI stuff, ESG stuff. But TV and film, oh yeah, especially with TV shows, I think we're going to see a lot more of, Orange Man Bad type of stuff. I think we're going to see a lot more stuff that we've had before. Comic wise, look how the mainstream comic industry had a nice little meltdown again. Again,
deja vu, bro.
But why? What I would say though is, if your industry is having a meltdown, then your industry is leaning in an unbalanced direction.
Yes, that's a good point. Yeah, it's undeniable. You can't sit up here and try to gaslight us and act like the makeup isn't that. They would like to tell us that, well, no, it's not just this hive mind of authoritarian leftists that run the show and all that. You guys are just seeing things. You're just crazy. Like, no, we're not. I'm not fucking stupid. I see the way, and you're proving the way that you're reacting. When you have some of your bigger dogs, we saw the Dragon Age, lead writer. We talked about it, and them having all these retweets and going crazy at the election. We've seen this. We know how these guys are reacting, and I don't think that they are capable of separating that from their profession. They haven't shown that they could, and I think that it's important. It's not just about Trump himself. So I do believe they're going to have more stand-ins. Don't be surprised if they run it back with Marvel having a Trump-like face be MODOK. I think that they would do things like that, but it's also what they think the quote-unquote right represents. And that, by the right, that means anybody to the right of fucking Stalin. What they think that it represents. So it's those ideas that they feel like they have to advocate against, and be more front-facing with their own personal agendas. That especially is what they can't separate. And so you're going to see a lot more on the nose themes in the content that they make. So whether it's video games, whether it's with Hollywood, whether it's with again, all sorts of forms of entertainment, I just think that they're going to take a stand because they feel like they must. And that's all they know. They did it before. Why wouldn't they do it again? They haven't learned shit. I would be, if I thought the general consensus, if there is one, and I was looking at these guys' reactions and it was of self-reflection I would then say, okay, maybe they will course correct. But there has been zero examples of that. It's sniffing their own fucking farts. It's Kamala Harris ran the perfect campaign, right? And it's everybody else's a problem. It's your fault. You're the evil ones, and I hope you never find peace. That don't sound like someone that's learned anything, Ass.
No, I don't think Zegler is. I think the only way that she's going to get a humbling is when she doesn't get picked up for movies.
Yeah.
But we're in an industry where, because of this performative outrage, is that almost an audition within itself?
That's a good point. I think that's the conversation worth having, because is it not? It's almost like a pledge of allegiance.
Yes. Like the I won't rape my employee.
Yeah, in the comic industry.
DC pledge.
Yeah.
Which that says a lot about you.
Right.
And what you could potentially do.
That's for sure.
So yeah, I mean, any normal guy would be like, I don't need to sign anything like this.
Yeah, because I'm not into that shit. So
yeah, we if you do, then I'd sort of be worried. Tom King, very worried.
But yeah, it's I don't see any examples of them course correcting or feeling a need to it, and I think there's a separation that needs to happen. Do I believe that the audience, generally speaking, even normies, are for the most part over this shit? I guess, but they're not the ones that are creating it. So yeah, while they may reject it and they may make fun of it and they may say this is the goofiest shit ever. Is that really going to stop these guys from at least putting their best foot or worst foot, depending on what way you want to put it, forward and creating this bullshit, ideological bullshit?
No, it doesn't, because it's being run by ESG and DEI and stuff like that, and funded by BlackRock and all that kind of stuff. So no, they're the ones who are making the decisions. It's not based off sales, and it's not based off customers. It's based off funding. And as BlackRock said, forcing behavioral changes. So if it's rejected, we've seen that they double down. When the double down fails, they triple down. When the triple down fails, they quadruple down. There's no lesson being learned here. Mm-hmm. It's almost a war of attrition, and there's only one winner, which is the customer. Ultimately, because you can fund this till the cows come home. Eventually, the funding will run out.
Oh, it will for sure. And they show you that you don't ever expect them to just come out and be like, "Yeah, we kind of fucked up." You may find, again, these people somehow keep falling for these chicks that are into them, and they get recorded saying the quiet part out loud all time and time again. But it's not going to be admitted like that unless it's under those set of circumstances, right? The way that you see them basically understanding that this shit isn't working is through making adjustments in how they, and not in how they hire as in a course correction, but like in laying people, like what you're seeing with CNNs, and that's them understanding that we can't keep it up the way that we are. But that's the difference. It's like, sure, you can make the adjustment because you had the consequences of your actions, and therefore you can't keep this up. But it also has to be a proper assessment, and it has to be, well, the reason why we aren't getting as much money as we were before, and therefore we can't afford to hire these fools, is because, well, people are rejecting this. That reflection has to happen. And I don't know that they have the proper people in the proper departments to properly assess that the way that, because I look at it like, well, it's y'all's fault. That's how they look at it. Excuse me. It's like, well, it's everybody else's fault. Or we got to do more. I read an article on my last stream on Monday from Variety talking about they were talking about celebrities and the entertainment elites and their endorsements. And the assessment wasn't, yeah, maybe this isn't as effective. Maybe they're a little out of touch with what just regular people want. That was not the assessment. The assessment was they should be doing it more.
Mm-hmm.
That was in the headline. They need the artists, to be speaking now more than they ever had.
Yeah, I laughed.
So that's a double, triple, quadruple, quintuple, sextuple. That is, you're ramming your head against this wall, right? The wall ain't budging. It's not. The wall's not going anywhere. You cannot even chip it. But they're gonna keep ramming the motherfucker in it, and that's what you have right now. And so I think some people look at that. When I say that, at least I can't speak on your behalf. But when I say it, I think a lot of folks look at it like a black pill, and it's not. It's just, I'm being a realist here, and I'm more a white pill than anybody. I wrote a song with the title because I look at it like, well, this is opportunity. This is opportunity for me,
big time,
for other people to get out there and create, because the people with all the access, or the people with the money, and the people with the funding efforts, those guys have told you what they are going to do for the next years. Really, you have to go out of your way to make the same foolish mistakes. Just don't do what they're doing, and that is your recipe for success. So I'm more white pilled than I am black pilled. But yeah, maybe if you would look at it like a black pill if you don't think that they're going to, let's say if it's a property that you think hasn't been fucked over yet, you're like, oh, they're either going to course correct or they're not going to ruin my property. Yeah, in that case, I'm like, you may be in for a rude awakening, because if they hadn't already got around to it, they will.
Take the fall of mainstream media at the moment. CNN's been gutted. It needs to be gutted. Why?
There's no way Warner's getting a return. Did you know that they're paying Anderson Cooper like 20 million
a year?
What the fuck? You know they're not getting a return on that show.
Yeah,
It's
dude, you
impossible.
give me 20 million a year, I'll fucking be gay. 20 million a fucking year.
That's a lot of money, man.
That's a lot of money, yeah. That's a lot of money to have fucking no charisma, personality, whatever. But that said, I would have an Anderson Cooper that was objective all day long, because I think he's got the right demeanor to question people. But it's the objectivity, and that's why CNN's going under. That's why the mainstream medias are falling apart, because these are meant to be objective organizations. And when you treat people like idiots, when you treat a leftist like an idiot or somebody who leans more to the right on idiot, because when we're talking about the people that we're talking about, we are talking about the people on the extreme here. And they don't understand that there is a big bunch of regular fucking people in the middle that can be swayed one way or another, based off common sense or things which sound like they could be beneficial to them or their family, policy that could be beneficial to them. So when you've got mainstream media failing miserably, to me, that's a huge thing to say is you are not connecting with the regular person here. You're not connecting with the regular man or a woman that could swing either way.
Yeah.
You are not. You have pushed to such an extreme position. You've gone into such a propagandizing position that you've lost them. And the person who's watching your program, they could vote either way, but what they want is they want a bit more objectivity. They want to understand things better, make a more informed decision. They don't want propaganda. People can see when propaganda is being forced upon them.
Right.
So
I mean, and this is why they
gone to Fox News or whatever. It's they're probably looking around for or either abandoned it or
that's the rise of that. But that's the rise of, like, you've seen like these more independent guys that are like just firing up their YouTubes, right, and delivering private journalists, and they're just bringing the same shit under a different lens, right? It's just a completely different lens. And I think that's why you had, what's the egghead son of a bitch? I don't even know if he used to have a show, Brian Seltzer or whatever. That idiot. And he had homie on this show.
Another gay guy.
Yeah. You see it's up Don LeBar. You see, like there's a reoccurring theme here with these kind of.
Oh wait, he's married. Oh, okay.
So
whatever you say.
But no, like you have like that one, and I covered it a while back, where they were going in on like this whole misinformation campaign, and they were talking about basically YouTubers, right? How they were, I think Crowder was one of the ones they were specifically like referencing, and really how you feel about Crowder is irrelevant. What they were mad at essentially was that there were people that get more views than they do, right? That don't have this production and all this. And of course they don't have their arrogance, because CNN like to think that, well, it's not legitimate unless it comes through them, right? Unless they, and oftentimes they're not, to your point, bringing some level of objectivity. They're not just bringing the news. It's, well, okay, I will take this little morsel of truth of what happened, but then I have to run it through this filter, this shit filter. And then it's being presented as more so propaganda. So you're not actually getting delivered the truth. And other people are getting it straight from other folks, like on YouTube and various platforms or what have you. And they're finding that I don't necessarily need to go to CNN to get that. If I want this bent, I could just go somewhere else.
You know, I think a lot of people would be more inclined to watch a Joe Rogan.
Oh, 100%.
Because, you know, at least Joe Rogan's going to have a good discussion with whoever he's got in front of him, whichever way they lean towards.
Right.
He's going
to be more substantive.
Yeah, and he's going to treat you with fucking respect, and he's going to probe for sure, but he's probing out of the desire to learn and understand.
Right.
And I think that's what people are wanting. They're wanting that sort of communication. Now, Kamala had the opportunity to go on Joe Rogan.
Well, she had all these rules and shit that she wanted.
But she wanted to do on her terms, and that's not the way that Joe does it. And you know, before the election happened, they said, well, Joe should have done it. It's just, and then after, it's just like, no, Kamala should have done what Trump did, and Trump turned up to the studio, and Trump did whatever 3-4 hours or
Well, it's
whatever.
like we're gonna do it. How do you do it? Whatever your format is, that's the way that we're gonna do it.
Yes, yeah, because that would show well, that would show some humility for a start, which is never
the
a bad
opposite
thing.
of what we get from Kamala, right? Or what we got from her.
That is exactly it. We discussed last week, and I said from an outsider looking in, because I don't have a dog in this fight. From an outsider looking in, I can see one guy that is connecting with people due to the way that he talks, the way that he communicates, and then I can see another one who is so fabricated and phony and staged. Just from an outsider looking in, my brain is saying, well, that guy, whether you like him or not, this guy believes in what he's doing, believes in what he's saying. This woman here is just a complete fucking fraud. She's a think tank, overthought, put together. What can I say? What should I not say? It's too manufactured, and so it doesn't connect with people. To me, her biggest failure was not going on Joe Rogan. It could have exposed her even more, sure. But that is, if you really truly want to connect, then those are the platforms that you have to go onto nowadays. It doesn't help her to go onto CNN or NBC or do some fake staged edited interview. That doesn't help, because as we've seen from the fact that they're laying all of these people off, that was already an audience. You're preaching to the converted there.
Right.
You're not getting to another audience.
Right.
Going on to probably Trump won himself some votes going on Joe Rogan from people that weren't going to vote for him. And they saw the guy sit down and they saw the conversation and they got a good deal of time talking about all kinds of stuff, because it wasn't just politics. They're going into all kinds of shit.
Right.
And that shows that somebody's just more than a politician. It shows that they can connect and then they can they can connect with you on different levels, and they have commonalities with you. And like I said, it's about the commonalities. It's not about what divides us. It's about the commonalities that we have. And yeah, there were some huge missed opportunities there. But
I think that's just representative, though, of the people that we're just talking about in general, with the authoritarian left that runs everything. It's just arrogance, man. It's just straight up. They believe they have all of the ideas. And again, everything that they do is justified. Everything they do is righteous, and everybody else must adjust. And I think this whole election cycle really proved that, you might think that way, but there's a significant amount of people that feel differently about that. And it's just, if there's an expectation that they're going to change, I just think it's very, very unrealistic, because I mean, I guess the whole saying is that, you have to admit that you have a problem in order to solve it, right? And I just don't get that. You got
to go outside your comfort zone.
Yeah.
I saw somebody post. Didn't she paid Oprah to go on? She
paid everybody, everybody for the most part. I was just reading something about prior to her
preaching to your own audience.
Mm-hmm.
You're not winning. You're not winning any more votes there.
That's the funny money aspect of it. I was reading something that Al Sharpton, she appeared on something that he did, and that they ended up donating I think to his organization ahead of it $500,000 before he went and basically kissed her ass live on air and whatever. It's all of that shit was bought and paid. We know they were paying $5 million here, $1 million here for this.
Yeah, we know when there were influencers that were getting paid to do Instagram
it was
stuff.
All fake, bro. It was all fucking fake. The whole shit was fake, top to bottom. And I think that's and maybe that's part of the lash out, is that the election in itself showed that these people aren't as important as they like to think that they are. To regular people, to common folk. They aren't that important, because it didn't really move the needle like they anticipated. And getting definitely that final week, I don't know if you guys remember that final week, everybody and their mama was sending in. That's when the endorsements really came for her. That's when you got the Beyoncé's and and Taylor Swift did that post. All that happened within a week of the election, right? That was a Hail Mary. They were just all right, everybody come start kissing Kamala's ass, and it didn't work.
Okay, all right. Let's hold that thought for a second, actually, because you brought something that I wanted to mention. If there is any, or wouldn't you say, like your thought on this, wouldn't you say there is no better endorsement that mainstream media and mainstream celebrity have zero connection to the public than all the endorsements that she got from all of those celebrities? That there is a shopping list long of celebrities and influencers and mainstream media. You had all of that and you lost.
Yes. That should be an example of it. Like, again, and I think going back to the point, I think that's maybe why they are lashing out, even though that's not I mean, we can argue all day. We already know that that's not the proper reaction to have out of that. It would be a little humility. It would be to reanalyze, but maybe they're reacting to it just wrongfully because they don't know how to react, because you're having to, you spend your whole life working as part of this fucking cabal, this machine, to feel important, right, amongst the elites. And then you're starting to have to realize that your influence is just dwindling, right? And there is no going back, for them. They're not, I think even they got a little bit of that when they didn't get a whole lot of public support, for example, with entertainers, with those strikes, right? If you remember, it wasn't like people were falling over themselves to get these fuckers back to work. People were like, I mean, we don't really care like that. And then they struck a deal, obviously, and here we are. But, it's another example of like, guys aren't really caring as much in comparison to years prior, or decades prior for that matter, because I think this is something that took a lot of time. And so I do believe that's why a lot of people that were connected, and I know I'm repeating myself for people that have watched a lot of my videos, but that were connected to this old guard or are connected to this old guard, are so protective of it, because not everybody can fall. Like you saw that during the, what do you call it? The pandemic, if you will. All these celebrity that tried to become podcasters, and it just didn't work.
Oh yeah. Like because they exposed their lack of talent, because it just showed you how much they relied on their writers, their 20-odd writing team, their management team to make them appear a certain way. No, they got fully exposed. Yeah, and they failed miserably. Yeah.
And so it's almost job protection, right? And they're lashing out because they know deep down, if this is over for you. There's no, I can just slide into doing this independent thing. No, you're incapable. You've shown that you're not really capable of doing anything. So they're so protective of, I think, the old guard, and this is what textbook elitism is really about. They're just so protective of that because that's all they got. They don't got shit else.
I got a question for you. I don't know if this is any relevance or not. But do you think that the persistent demonization of men over the course of the last goodness knows how many years now, let's say 5-6 years, has paid or played into this flip reverse? This constant attacking of men, this constant attacking of masculinity, this constant belittling. Do you think that's had any effect whatsoever? Do you think that the left has significantly abandoned their potential male followers, the classic liberals, whatever you want to call them, and gone so far down like an intersectional avenue that they have essentially pushed the male voter over to the other side?
Well, that's what the demographics are pointing to. I mean, obviously women tend to lean that way, and we've seen men. I mean, that was the argument that a lot of people that are pro vote were like, hey man, you guys got to get out there and go vote, because you kind of have this onslaught. And I think that's really significant. I mean, especially in how Kamala, what they were trying to sell, like abortion was a leading issue, right? And I think that does kind of speak to what they're banking on. They're banking on people, for lack of better terms, men that are cucked to women and women, and they've demonized men as everything wrong with everything. And yeah, I think that as men start to realize, like, you're a fucking man, you don't got to take this shit. You do understand that, right? Like you don't have to sit up here and put up with that. Yeah, it's hurt them in several different ways, but also you got to understand, as a lot of the nerd culture stuff that they tried to co-op, those are male dominated things, right? Like all of it is, for the most part. Like all of it, for it's not to say that there aren't women that may like Star Wars, but you got to be honest with yourself, right? You know that trends towards men.
Yeah,
right?
but they're the ones who are not honest with it. That's the thing. We can be honest with it.
Right.
We understand how gaming truly leans. We understand how comics truly lean. Video games. We understand how they truly lean. They're the ones who have been fudging the statistics.
Yeah,
and then
trying to say, oh, it's 50-50 now with the game. Yeah. No, it's not. Like, yeah, if you include maybe Candy Crush and I don't know, some other shit, yeah. But as far as what we're talking about with these games, like, they tend to lean heavily towards the dudes, right? So they're also being so destructive in industries that are the actual buyer is slanted to the way that they are. And I think this is why it's been such a pushback, obviously, in gaming. But it's dominated by men, and that's who you're demonizing. It's not even that you're just demonizing it. You're saying that all the problems are because of them.
Well, the reason why I bring this up is I can't think of a more embarrassing campaign than White Guys for Kamala.
That shit was gay.
It was lame and gay,
corny. Yeah, lame and gay.
But also, it just really highlighted the fucking intersectional aspect of it.
Mm-hmm.
A bit as if white people are perceived as a problem, and they need to get it. So
yeah, that's a good point. Yeah,
I would.
That's the only reason that exists. That's the only reason that exists. It's a good point. Great point. Yeah.
So, to me, that would drive more people, I would say, in the other direction than it would get white guys to come out and vote for a cocksucking drunk. But which is weird, because you'd think that dudes would be into that sort of thing.
Under other circumstances, and maybe they were.
Yeah, and yet here we are. And yet here we are.
Here we
are. Yeah, because I thought that campaign was just one of the most embarrassing fucking. Again, it's just so out of touch.
It is.
Just so out of touch with who your potential.
I think they just think that we're just supposed to. Most people are, and maybe they had been, and maybe I guess when you are in this echo chamber, you believe that. But like, we just got to go along with this shit. Like, at some point, it was always going to. I mean, you were all obviously operating on like thin ice anyway. But there's no way you could keep just demonizing a side like that, and they just go along with this foolishness, right? And I guess maybe they were banking in on that. Maybe they were thinking that they were truly influencing these people to change their positions and to start just absolutely fucking hating themselves. And perhaps there are men out there that despise themselves. And unfortunately, there's a lot of young ones that despise themselves as well, because everything that's it. For one, they're raised by a single mother who probably hates their fucking the father. They're surrounded in schools and academia by these women who tell them basically since birth that everything that's wrong with the world is because of something that men are doing or not doing. And maybe, I can see how that churns out a bunch of effeminate, weak pussies, for lack of better terms, that despise themselves, right? I can understand that for sure. That said, people that got sense, and definitely as folks started to see alternatives, it was only so much they were going to put up with, like, you can't just go around just demonizing large swaths of these people and think that was going to be cool. But some people do, and that's a sword that they're dying on, and that's their own fucking fault.
Well, yeah, that's their own fucking fault. Anyway, bad luck next time, Rachel. I guess.
Good luck.
Let's get into a bit of gaming stuff here. I'm glad you linked this, because I was actually going to go into it, but so you pulled this pull this article up for us anyway. So I saw this. I saw this the other day as well. Inverse, always known
top notch stuff over there.
Yeah.
Inverse, man.
Yeah,
Best gaming journalism ever.
At its best.
Only second to Kotaku.
Or Pink News.
Yeah. Fuck.
The gaming. The Veil Guard, Dragon Age, the Veil Guard, makes me feel seen as a trans player. I love this next bit. But Blockbuster Games can do better. Because do you know why it can do better, Eric?
Why is that?
Because it's never enough.
Never enough.
It's never, ever, ever.
And that's why
enough.
I know we're gonna read it, but that's why it's
stop pandering to these fucking weirdos.
Yes, because it's a zero sum. There's no winning here.
No,
you can't possibly win. You let them in, they'll derail everything that you do. But as you try to cater to them, as you try to appeal to these fools, they're always going to suggest that you do more, right? So you've hurt your brand all for what? Because now the people that were your target audience don't like it, like in the case of Dragon Age. And then the people that you tried to signal to said that you ain't doing enough. So what was it for? It was a lost effort.
Well, we should be playing this again tomorrow, chat, by the way, people who have been watching me play. And I've got some bad news for you. You see, when I played on Monday, I was not so well. I was I had a very upset stomach. I was vomiting a lot. And I did 2.5 hours, and about halfway through the stream, or about an hour into the stream, I picked up the wrong quest, and it said, if you pick this quest, you can't pick any more quests up, and you just have to plow on with the main storyline until the end of the game. And I was like, okay, here we go. So we did that, and then we started to push on a little bit, and then I was just like, I've got to call it here, guys. I'm not feeling too well, so we'll call it here. We'll get back to it. Now that I am well recovered, I said that we were going to do the whole game. Chat said that we were going to do the whole game. I managed to find an autosave right before that decision to split. So I have now saved that as the main game. And we're going to have to disregard about the last 90 minutes of the last stream. And we are going to continue with the side quests until they are all complete. And everything's done. And then we will push on the main quest. You get what you fucking deserve. Okay, there's a tweet.
Oh, man.
That makes the rounds every so often that says getting queer baited by Marvel is like losing at chess to a dog. What?
Queer baiting and
no, I've heard the queer baiting bit. It's the fucking
chess
like,
to a dog.
I'm
not quite familiar with that analogy, metaphor, or whatever.
No, there's a phrase that goes around which says Marvel keep queer baiting. And they never truly deliver because they're too fucking scared ultimately. Because if they do fully commit, the likelihood is they'll lose more. Anyway, it's a reference to the Marvel Cinematic Universe's history of only hinting at queer characters. Well, they've done a little bit more than that.
That's for sure.
And the idea that we should know better than to expect more by now. It also describes my feelings towards expecting trans representation in blockbuster games.
And imagine being that much of a narcissist, right? Like, expecting this representation. And like, guys, I don't give a fuck. Okay, you guys are trans, whatever.
No, they're not. They're not.
But
no, Eric, no. Can we let's have an adult conversation here?
All right.
Okay, let's actually have an adult conversation. No, they're not trans.
Okay.
They're not trans at all. They're jumping onto a bandwagon. They're jumping onto a trend They are hiding behind a sword, a shield of trans representation. They are trans trenders. They are not transgender. They do not suffer truly from gender dysmorphia.
Yeah.
No, this is just complete fucking bollocks. I'm sick to the back fucking teeth of it. You have hijacked a group of people that truly do suffer, and they are very, very much in the absolute minority, the 0.1% of people that truly exist. So please stop fucking pretending that you're trans. You're not. You're a fucking fake. You're a fraud. You're a liar. And this is why you can't be taken seriously.
Right.
This is why you should be treated with fucking utter disdain, because you think by putting that word in gives you and affords you this sword and shield. And by doing this, you actually usurp people that genuinely suffer due to your own narcissism, due to your own craving for attention, due to your own lack of self-esteem or whatever it may be. But no, sir, you are not. You are not.
Yeah. And that's the thing. Even if you consider all of the fraud, you cannot possibly believe that your statistical significance warrants you being represented in blockbuster games. There's not that many of you, number one.
Not legitimate.
Yeah, legitimate or legitimate. Like, even if you consider the fakers, like, we see them, but when you actually, I don't know, go outside and touch some grass and you interact with people, you can easily go. I mean, maybe if you're not living in Seattle, but you can easily go several days, weeks, months without ever seeing a trans person. It's not that many of them is the point that I'm making. So what outside of just general narcissism makes you believe that you should expect to be represented in blockbuster games?
Oppression Olympics. It's the Oppression Olympics. It's the participation trophy generation. They believe that they've been brought up on just by competing, you deserve to have this. No. Therefore, by receiving their awards, they think they should be, inverted commas, seen. This is you want the fucking truth? You want the real fucking truth? Yeah, you are. You can be represented. You roll a female character.
That's actually a good point.
And that's how you feel represented, because somebody that
that's
suffers from actual
according to ideology,
dysmorphia.
According to the ideology, that's what you see yourself as.
Yeah, that's why we have non-binary. That's why non-binary was brought in, because that is the actual solution. The solution. I want to be seen. Okay, roll a female. Because that's how you see yourself. So now we have the non-binary. Now we have the zipper tits.
And that lets me know you're just signaling.
Yeah, exactly. So oh no, shit. That means, oh goddamn, fuck, they got us.
Yeah,
fuck.
You've been had, fucker.
Yeah, shit. Because somebody that suffers from gender dysmorphia, true gender dysmorphia, not fake ass Twitter transgenderism. They would want to roll a female character because that is how they ultimately would love to be,
right?
Or they would see themselves as. So yeah, you can feel seen. You select the male or the female option to the gender that you want, because we are binary as a gender. Okay, there's not 58,000 fucking genders. There's two. It's male. It's female. It's the same as sex, male and female.
Yeah, it's not a difference. Well,
so yeah, let's just stop this fucking nonsense. Yeah, let's just shut the fuck up about this Oh my god, I'm oppressed. Oh no, you're not. No, you're not. You're writing for a fucking Western magazine. You're living in the safest fucking part of the world that you could ever fucking live. You are absolutely 100%. I'm risking more saying this than you're risking anything in your fucking life, mate. Because you're so fucking protected by mainstream media. You're so protected by corporation and business that want to pander to this transgenderism that's been going around. You are not in any way, shape, or form not seen. In actual fact, I really wish you would shut the fuck up, because we cannot but hear this fake representation, which is being touted and pushed, and that's why you get such a laughable game like Dragon Age, which was so fucking pathetic in its shoehorning in of this ideology, that it's easy to see why normal people, regular people, gamers, RPG lovers would reject this game thoroughly on every level, because it barely functions as a fucking video game. Never mind some pathetic piece of
we talked about it,
extreme left ideology, fucking fetish. Because to me, this is fetishism. It's not.
We talked about it. If people want to actually go watch that, I have the video on my channel, clipped from the show where Az and I, we just go through all the shit that, even if you remove the ideological bullshit, we go through all the things that are that are wrong with this fucking game.
Yeah. Yeah, it barely functions as a fucking game. Anywho, so I hope that answers your trans representation.
Yeah.
Aspect. Dragon Age: The Veilguard's approach to trans characters feels like a step forward. No, it was laughable trash. But the mere fact that it does just highlights how low the bar is. The Veilguard's options for playing the protagonist Rook as a trans character. Begin the creation screen. There is no male or female body types. Okay, right. So already we're out of reality.
From the off rip.
Yeah.
You just turned the fucking game on and you already are taken out.
Yeah, I want some companies to have the balls to put male and female back in instead of body type 1 and body type 2.
Yeah.
You know, can you have a backbone?
Please,
any of you got a backbone?
God.
Yeah.
For the love of God.
Regardless of your character's appearance, you can choose their gender identity and pronouns separately. Utterly pathetic. Though I haven't seen anywhere in the game where your choice of gender identity actually comes into play. Well, you clearly didn't play the game. That's why
you didn't play. There's a part where you look in the fucking mirror in your little stupid house or whatever the hell, and they specifically go through that. That's specifically what the fucking option is. It says gender identity options or some dumb shit.
Unlock gender identity options. Yeah. And because I very purposely rolled a they/them non-binary character, so that the game couldn't shoehorn me into a male or female, avenue. I could have the full. This is just it. If you wanted to get if you wanted to get more out of the game, you had to go into the 0.00000%, right?
Yeah.
And to all those people, and I'm apologies for people who've heard me say this before on the streams, but there'll be people here that haven't watched the video game streams. But for people that say that this is only adding options, okay, this is just adding options in. Well, that's not true.
It's a fucking
because
lie.
if you are adding further options, right? Then where is the make to Vinta great again option?
Mm-hmm.
Where is the counter to this option? Where is the thorough rejection of this ideology and the desire to turn to Vinta into an whatever?
Yeah.
Seriously.
No. I mean, you're not. That's not tongue in cheek. Where is that? Right, because even when you're going through the actual storyline, which I know they're going to go, we'll read the article because they go through some of this stuff. But even when you get to the like non-binary gay shit in the actual storyline, it's not like you have an option to say this is most retarded shit ever. Like when Isabella starts to go for a barb or whatever the fuck. Like, why can I not say, hey, Isabella, you're retarded for doing that? And everybody in here that's going on with this charade is fucking retarded. There's no option to do that. You have to specifically go along with this dumb shit. There is no, I mean that a lot of y'all have not played the game, thank God. But I'm telling you, there is no option for that. So this whole, they're just adding you options. No, this game fundamentally forces you to ride that ideological line. It does. There's no deviating from it.
No, there is not. And because it does add extra dialogue options, because it does add actually different conversations and stuff like that, you are losing more by just being a regular person. You're losing in terms of who you can romance. You're losing in terms of dialogue. You're losing in terms of certain storylines. So you're actually losing more by just trying to play the fucking game
regular dude.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Regardless of your character's appearance, you can choose your gender identity and pronouns separately, though I haven't seen anywhere in the game, blah, blah, blah. Otherwise, the only nod to trans identity is the ability to add top surgery scar. This person didn't play the game.
Yeah, they might be full of shit. Robin.
Yeah, you didn't. You didn't play the game. I played the game. Okay, you're a fake trans. You. This is just it. You just shown what a fucking poser you are because you didn't play the fucking game, so you didn't see where the extras came in. We have the whole fucking storyline online about I'm like non-binary.
Yeah, like it's like a literal lectures, bro. It's like I don't know what this person is talking about.
There is other shit because I chose this. There is a conversation where my character discusses what it was like to come out as trans with the other when I say trans, the fake, fucking, it's a woman, female, with the other fucking fake narcissist, so there is so much more that wasn't even put out on video that didn't even get out there, where you just waffle on about it.
No.
But this person would have had to have played the game and actually got to those options, and they didn't. So you get this, it's not good enough. Oppression Olympics, oh my God, type of thing. All I can really say about this is it's fine. These are frankly all options that should be standard in character creation at this point. No, they should not.
No, they shouldn't. And why
they should absolutely
just because you
not.
exist, just because you exist, top surgery scar should be in the fucking. That's the dumbest shit ever, man. It doesn't make sense.
Right. But you could have top surgery scars in this game, but you couldn't have a breast size above an A cup. You could.
Wasn't there something that came out that it was some poor excuse that why they did it that way? I was reading. I lost the article. I have to find it. But apparently, I don't know if it was a dev or whatever said the reason why that was the case was something extra retarded. I'll look into that.
Cope. Whatever they said.
Yeah, whatever it is.
Pure cope. Yeah. We know why. We know why because people that espouse this ideology are actually legitimate misogynists. They legitimately hate
this
women.
Is a trans person that runs apparently some podcast called Girl Mode.
How would they know? How would they know?
And women, the fact that y'all let these motherfuckers get away with it is just a trip to me. That's an absolute trip because men for the most part don't because that. To be fair, you don't hardly ever see them trying to invade your male dominated spaces as females pretending to be men. You don't usually see that as much, but you see it all the fucking time in your sports.
I know how weird.
Yeah, it's funny how it goes the other way for the most part.
Maybe there's some correlation. Maybe there's some correlation there. I don't know. Potentially. I don't fucking know.
Yeah, potentially.
But yeah, these are actual legitimate misogynists. They invade women's spaces. They invade their sports. They take away their world records. They take away their trophies. They make them more looking into man because, of course, they are men. And so, yeah, I don't think there's anything more that could define misogyny than the way that they act. But that's where we are, I guess. I'd rather see them included than not, but it doesn't do anything to make me feel more seen as a trans person. Oh, maybe you should get over yourself.
I just don't understand why the game is why is that like how narcissistic do you have to be in order to believe like that's the specific job of the game to even do that shit in the first place?
That's the ideology is based around narcissism. It's based around
Yeah,
intersectionality.
100%,
It's
100%.
based around victim culture. It's never enough. This is why you don't apologize. It's never enough. An apology is not enough. You know, whatever you put in is never enough. You put 5 gay characters in out of 6, they'll say, why isn't all of them gay?
Yeah.
You know, you make all of them gay. You're right. Okay, there you go. All 6 characters are gay. They go, well, where are the trans? And then you go, okay, so there's 3 trans and 3 gay characters now. And then you go, right, so where are they? And then make up more.
Yeah.
Because it's
They'll
never
find something
enough.
to be impressed about.
You know, today's pronouns are this, today's pronouns are that. Blah, blah, blah. It's all fucking, it's just a joke.
Yeah.
The Veil Guard slowly reveals its actually interesting takes on trans characters shortly after the game begins in earnest. In an early scene, Rook unpacks their belongings, including a mirror given to them by returning character Varrett. Yes. Upon pulling out the mirror, you choose from a menu to options, which some choices that establish Rook as trans. The inclusion of these options sets the Veil Guard apart from other games. Yeah, it's fucking retarded. Though I'd again argue that, here we go. Again, I'd argue that being able to make a canonically trans character should be the bare minimum.
Why? And even especially because wouldn't a setting also be very important? This sort of fucking dark fantasy setting is especially retarded to even have canonically trans characters. It's stupid.
It is absolutely stupid because it doesn't.
That's taking a modern problem, right?
Yes.
And trying to apply it in the past, and that's stupid. Doesn't make sense.
No, it's this is why fantasy's dead. But you know, what the Veil Guard gets right isn't just that this scene exists, but it makes room for different trans experiences. You can choose dialogue options that highlight different feelings your Rook can have about their transition, from the struggling of your image in the mirror, not matching your idea of yourself, to the joy of knowing you've fought to find your real self. Nice. It took a while for me to figure out why the face staring back at me from the mirror felt wrong, my Rook said when I chose the last option. Oh, by the way, I don't know if you know this, Eric, but all of these options, they all unlock established transgender identity.
So you're trans regardless.
Yeah, the only way that you can not is you gotta hit the back and get the fuck out of Dodge.
Yeah.
Otherwise, that establishes that establishes that establishes that.
Like
all 3 options just do the same.
Objectively speaking, okay. Even if you're goofing around with this is not just completely. Remember, they brag about being an immersive game. That's what's on the front page of their shit. Does this not just take you fucking out of? Wouldn't it just take you out of the game? Reading establishes trans. Like these are uber modern non-problems. That would take me completely out of this shit. Because now I'm in Seattle.
Yeah, the game never at any point felt immersive.
Yeah.
You're always getting pulled out for one reason or another. Well, not that you ever allow yourself to fall in, because
it's very hard to do that.
You always are getting pulled out due to shit like this, stupid shit like this. But the dialogue throughout the whole game is so current day, modern 2024 California, or West Coast. Let's just say West Coast.
Yeah.
That you don't even feel as if you're in a fantasy world. You feel like you're being dragged around by the crew of Critical Role. You know, and you're never immersed in it at all. You just get like that. You know, there's literally lines with like something like da or something or maybe or like. You know, it's just so fucking Cali fucking speak.
So Valley Girl.
Yeah, Valley Girl fucking Cali speak. It's fucking garbage. The dialogue in general throughout the whole game is a mitigated garbage, though. So yeah, never mind this. You at no point do you ever feel immersed in the game. But once I was able to be honest with myself, it was a relief to
Hey,
figure
bro,
out
if you were
I
honest
was
with yourself,
trans.
you wouldn't be going by robbing whatever the fuck. If you were
No.
being honest with yourself.
Yeah.
So let's just X the doubt on that one.
Yeah. Big. It's fucking Malcolm fucking X'd out on that.
Yeah.
And it's worth it to look in the mirror today and see the woman I am staring back. Oh, so you rolled a female character then?
Why are we going through the extra
So why do we have all this trans stuff then?
Why are we going through the extra steps, bro?
In the character creation screen, you rolled a woman, out the options of woman and man, and then you were a true self, and then we could just fucking start the game from the very beginning.
Yeah,
none of this is necessary.
Go through this rigmarole, bro. It's unnecessary.
Congratulations, you played yourself.
Oh my god!
Because if we are playing by their rules of trans women are women, then you have woman in the character creation screen.
There you go. That's boom, your representation.
There you go. You're off.
I don't think these guys.
Am I wrong? Am I wrong?
No, you're correct. You're 100% correct. I just don't think they thought it through.
Without exaggeration, it's the most I've ever felt my own experiences of trans reflected back at me in a blockbuster game.
Right. Stop that. Stop. Fucking stop. Okay. And maybe I'm looking at this wrong, right? When I hear terms like immersive and all this other shit. Okay. Does that not defeat the purpose, right, of playing the game?
Yes.
Like, because if I just want to have my own experiences and all of that shit be reflected, I can just look in the mirror.
Like just look in the fucking mirror. Yeah.
Like an actual one, right?
Yeah.
But there's nothing escapist about this.
No.
There's nothing immersive about this. This is like you just wanted your real life projected into a video game.
Yeah.
Which this is a RP. What are we doing?
Wasting our time.
Yeah, that's fundamentally what we're doing. We're wasting our goddamn time. This isn't an RPG.
No.
It's just me, the game. That's what she want. That's what Robin, they, them, shim, whatever the fuck. That's what they wanted. Just wanted themselves in the game, literally. And at that point, you're not playing a game. Like you're not even. I don't get it. None. And maybe it's not more for me to understand, but I especially don't get this shit.
It even helps to know that the other versions of that scene, which keeps the veil guard from implying that every trans person experiences gender the same way. There are other moments where you're able to reference your trans identity through a few, though few feel as impactful as this initial choice.
In other words, it's not enough.
Yeah, it's not enough. Where they do become important is in dealing with Trash, the game's only other out trans player member.
Like how they said only, like there's supposed to be just multiple ones. Anyway.
Because they're a dime a dozen, mate. They're a fucking dime a dozen, all over the place. Didn't you know? It's like fucking apples in a barrel. Just, easy everywhere. Where they each character has a series of personal quests and trashes centered on their discovery and understanding of their own non-binary identity.
Yeah, such a dark fantasy game right there.
Oh yeah. Starbucks Age.
Yeah, Starbucks Age. I like that.
The barista edition. The scene where Trash realizes their non-binary is another high point in the Veilguard's trans representation. Trash's epiphany comes seemingly out of nowhere. What a surprise. Just like this ideology.
Yeah.
They're talking with another party member about how their mum used to try to make them wear dresses because they're a girl.
Because they're a girl, yeah.
Trash, who was assigned female at birth. Oh my god.
So they are female? So Tash is female, is what?
Yeah,
that's
so,
saying.
yeah.
Tash is a girl.
So the baby girl recalls liking the way it felt when their mum said she didn't have to act like a woman. A less confident game could have played at the drama of the scene, and turned it into an emotional, teary affair.
According to who?
Yeah, I mean,
Because I'm just laughing at the shit.
Yeah.
Like, this is the goofiest shit ever. And
yeah.
it's supposedly immersive game. How is this teary-eyed? What was seriously like?
Well,
Those of you that
admittedly, I
passed
was
it,
crying
if you
with
played it
laughter.
or you watched Az play it, right? It's the
Mm.
same experience either way. It's no different. Seriously, where was the teary-eyed affair? Other than if you're dying laughing,
Yeah.
then I guess touche. But I don't think that's what they them shim are referencing.
I think BioWare was crying at the lack of profits. Lack of profits. Yeah, this game literally fucking Dustborn gave me pink eye, and this game made me puke. Instead, it takes an approach that fits Trash's brash, unflappable character, worst character in the history of gaming, and mirrors the way that for many trans fakers people, the biggest revelations about your identity can come from innocuous conversations with friends. Yeah. Oh, I actually 100% believe that. Man. Oh, I see you're not wearing a dress. Yeah, I just felt like wearing some pants today. Oh, guess what? You're this.
You're a man.
Yeah.
You're like, what? Like,
you're a man now. Am I? Yes, you are.
That's not how this shit, boy, man. The Tom girl is or the tomboy, excuse me, is surely
dead. We all knew tomboys. We all knew tomboys.
Yeah. Yeah. And thankfully, at least when I was coming up, they didn't all like try to fake having a dick.
I can't recall a single one that I knew doing that.
Yeah, me either.
They just like to fucking roll in the dirt with the boys, you know?
Yeah. And that was about it.
There were still girls and
still chicks.
Still chicks. God in heaven, help us, please. I'm begging. Trash even tries to divert the conversation, saying, "This is stupid. Forget I said anything." Okay.
I'll
take you up on that. Yeah.
Blush.
Take you up on that. Gesturing at one of the many ways newly out trans people can turn away from scary truths about themselves.
And guys, like you're gonna get, if you deal with Trash's like personal story, doing all those side quests, which you're basically forced to do anyway, because this is a very linear RPG. Look, the game fails in multiple instances. You're gonna get the lecture. There's no way to avoid it, I guess, is the point that I'm making if you're dealing with trashy stuff. And this is how the game fails as just a RPG. It absolutely fails because there's no way to be like, I do not want to have to even have this conversation with Trash. And I'd rather tell Trash to go fuck herself. But you can't do it. It's impossible. You're gonna get the lecture. The game forces you to get the lecture.
Even though I'm going back to do the other quests, when I do push on the story, I did get to a position where I had to sacrifice team members. Now they had to die. Best part of the game so far. In actual fact, I was actually upset I didn't get the choices that I wanted to kill.
Yeah.
I've already killed off 2 of them. There's still room for a lot more, fingers crossed.
Still room for improvement.
To my disgust, I have not been able to kill Trash.
Imagine that.
I know, and I'm gonna. She's because it's she, of course. She's either gonna be the final one that you can sacrifice, or no, she didn't 41% herself. Or they're not gonna do it because
I don't think they got the guts.
Bury your trans or whatever.
They ain't got the guts.
My God, I am gonna try so fucking hard. If you choose to empathize with trash, Rook's response is excellent here too. Rook recalls thinking that everyone must feel conflicted about their gender the way they did, and empathizes how choosing to embrace their trans identity was about choosing their own happiness.
In other words, you're forced to validate the bullshit.
There's no way you cannot.
Yeah, that's the point that I wanted to make. There's like different ways to basically, when you're dealing with that dialogue point or that story point, there's different ways to basically say the same shit. It's not really either way. You're validating trash's existence.
Mm-hmm.
There's no way to not do it. And again, that's just an example of how this game fails as an RPG. It's a fraud. It's not a next gen RPG by any means. It's about as linear of an experience as as it can be.
Yeah, repetitive crud. The scene also provides multiple options to describe their transition, reflecting the way that some of us struggle with coming out more than others do. Precedent. The fact that conversations with trash are where most of your options to talk about gender arise feels both real and unintentionally funny. I definitely agree with the unintentionally funny.
Yeah, the latter point. Yeah.
I'm with you 100.
Common ground.
Yeah, congratulations. We've found a position that we can choose. We can talk from. Most trans players can probably relate to how conversations about gender with the only other trans person in the room felt meaningful, while cisgender don't fucking ease up on the slurs.
Yeah, like how the audacity of Robin.
I'm sorry, chat. I apologize. I didn't realize that
Just throw that out there.
This article had a disgusting slur in it. I shall reread the sentence, and I do apologize. Most trans players can probably relate to how conversations about gender with the only other trans person in the room feel meaningful, while normal people all but ignore Rook mentioning their gender identity. But that reality also underscores the cracks in the Veilguard's trans representation.
Basically, Robin's mad that not everybody's validating her they them shims existence.
Yeah. Well, there is the scene, of course, where stupid Asian bitch, I don't even know what her name is. She was just like, "Oh my god, you misgendered. Oh yeah, time to pull a barb then," says Isabella. Trash's story is all about their gender, don't we fucking know it? And coming out to their mother. The coming out story is the most common story we have about trans people, probably because it's inherently dramatic, which makes it easier for a fucking hell. They can't stop the slurs. It makes it easier for a normal person to understand and empathize with it. No, I think it's ridiculously narcissistical and no. There's nothing wrong with how the Veilguard tells the story, but the fact that it chooses such low-hanging fruit does say something about its ambitions for trans characters. Never enough. Keeping most of Rook's options for discussing gender identity in the confines of Trash's story also, oh my god, also feels like the game corralling its gender feelings into one corner rather than having them feed into every aspect of Rook's story.
Validate me. That's essentially what Robin is saying here. And it's like,
hold up.
Holy shit.
Hold up, right? If I meet a group of people and we talk, what do you like? I like collecting Transformers, comics, video games, I don't. What do you like? Well, I just like talking about how heterosexual I am, and that's do you have any questions about my heterosexuality? Because I remember coming out as heterosexual when I was a young boy. Actually, I realized that I was attracted to women, and that's like that. That's not how you fucking normally speak.
No,
and that's half the problem with the game. Nobody speaks normally. Nobody has a conversation like it's a normal conversation.
Right.
It all feels so forced and DEI, ESG generated, as if it's been generated by committee, because it has. Rather than having them feed into every aspect of Rook's story, as they would have in a more authentic trans portrayal. Right, so you're saying trans people can't fucking shut up about themselves being trans. Got it.
That's
Got
authentic.
Yeah.
Okay.
They'll just protest too much.
Yeah.
So, where the Veil Guard's trans representation does succeed is its smart writing. Rook doesn't always feel like a fully actualized trans character. But when the game wants to talk about them being trans, it does a good job of it. We should continue on calling on major video game studios to do better by trans players and look at the Veil Guard's approach to at least we're willing to accept, rather than the most we can hope for.
They want, and that's a hell of a floor. They want the damn floor to basically be the Veil Guard. And the Veil Guard is the worst that I've seen of any game that I've played in recent years. It's bad.
It's just shit. It's just dog shit. It's just dog shit. In the meantime, you're better off heading to the indie site itch.io to play weird little games by and for trans people than spending your time trying to beat a dog at. Shut your fucking mouth.
Oh God, man. Robin, if you want to hear more Robin's thoughts,
no
podcast titled Girl Mode.
Okay. Which females do you get on there to talk about it? Okay. I'm done with this shit. Fucking nonsense.
Oh,
let's get into some super duperies.
Yeah, yo.
God,
it's pretty bad. Interesting game, nonetheless. By interesting, I'm not talking about the actual.
Oh, actually,
game.
before we do, let's just see how the game's performing right now, because it lost 50% of its player base, like online player base, from week 1 to week 2, from weekend 1, I should say, to weekend 2. I'm just scrolling down the charts to see, what's going to. Counter-Strike 2, of course, being number 1. Just scroll down. Baldur's Gate 3 at number 11, 69.
That game came out
over a year ago. And I mean, it's been in early access for years, but came out officially over a year ago. 875,000 people at peak. Just saying. Let's just carry on. Just carry on scrolling down. Helldivers 2 there. Nice. How you doing? Oh, here we go. Number 30. With 32,000 people playing, with an all-time peak of 89.5. So it's nearly down to what was its 24-hour high?
Wasn't 80? Wasn't it?
34,000. 89.5 was its all-time peak.
That was all time.
It's getting nowhere near. Yeah. So it's now just diminishing, and that's most likely people who've had the game, not new players, people who've had the game and just doing
side quests and
whatever they want to do, whatever they want to fucking do.
Yeah, that I saw. I can't remember. Someone said they may have been, and I don't know how accurate that data is, but it's a report. So take it for whatever way that you may. Basically saying that it was like they were telling, the studio was telling the, I guess, devs and employees that they had crossed 1 million sales mark, which I haven't seen a direct report on that though yet. So
I have not heard a direct report.
That wouldn't be enough either way. That wouldn't be enough.
Oh no, good God, no.
For them to like make a return.
No, I think honestly and realistically, the game has to make somewhere between 4 to 5 million, sell 4 to 5 million copies to make its money back.
It's not getting anything close to that. That's for sure.
No. No.
Not a chance.
The sales were predicted between 300 and something thousand and 900 and something thousand based off data extrapolation. Let's say they have shifted 1 million units. I could believe that. It's not anywhere near enough. It's not anywhere near enough. Even if I choose to believe it.
I don't think I don't know, man. I'm not even looking at like refunds and all that stuff. I don't know, man.
You have to bear in mind that a lot of it was given away free with Nvidia.
Right.
So there's going to be a proportion of those numbers because they'll be classed as shifted.
Yeah, bros. I don't know, bro.
Look, it's not a successful game. It's a loss.
Yeah, at the end of the day.
Yeah.
And that's
they
creatively,
can cope as much as they want or lie as much as they
creatively
want.
and financially. It's just not. It wasn't a success, and that's not my opinion. It's just.
It's just true. It's just true. Brass Monkey gifting 5 memberships to the stream. Brass Monkey, thank you. Nearly forgot to salute there, bud. My bad.
Shout out,
GJJ has been a member for 32. Thank you, GJJ. Crimson Feather Plays has been a member for 23 months. Thank you, Crimson Feather. DB with a £2 says, I'm an ally to the 4B movement for cat ladies.
Shout out.
Stunning and brave.
Very stunning and brave.
Josh Kelsey coming in, dropping a 20, sliding out. Thank you, Josh.
Per usual.
Callie off with a $10 says, as long as the credits keep rolling in, life's good. Party's over. Time to live outside the bubble. Eric, need to check eBay and protect your IPs. Lots of art listed officially from Yaira and others.
Well, if you're talking about the creators themselves, they get to do that. They get to if you're talking about them like selling their original art, like they get to do that. But I'll look into it.
Steve DeLeon with a $2 says, as what is best in life, to crush your enemies, see them driven before you, and hear the lamentation of the women. HTK bass player with a 12-month membership. Thank you. Caffeinated Me with a 12-month membership as well. Thank you. Creative WM Personal with a £2 says Captain African American is getting more.
No
what?
way. No way. No fucking way.
Making a 4th movie?
No. I had to look into that. Maybe there's some breaking news on that, but that's crazy.
Stephen DeLeon with a $2 says slap. Keep my team out your mouth. Hashtag Bills Mafia. Fucking Patriots beat Chicago. I don't know what's wrong with them. Legalize Adulthood gifting 20 memberships to the stream. Dude, thank you. Naughty man. DB with a £2 says, for the 9th time, Eric, will you please stop failing?
Oh, I can't help it, man.
Can't stop, won't stop.
Mm-mm.
And Legalize Adulthood dropping a hundo.
That ain't cheap.
Dear as your body, my choice. Isn't that what fucking Nick Fuentes said?
Yeah.
Fucking nut. He's such a fucking tit. But he's a silly little gay man, isn't he? Silly little gay man. Silly little psyop gay man. Now bend over and squeal, little pluggy. Come on, boy. Squeal. Screams for the bikers. As he builds out the harem hostel in Casa de Az, whistling while he worked. First thing I'd do is throw fucking Rachel Zegler right out that fucking door.
That's
and then probably fire up some multiplayer COD with the dwarves, you know? Sounds like a plan. Thank you, sir. It's in the book. Dark Hierophant with a $2 says, thanks for the rec as beading Skybound. Oh, yeah. Reading Skybound Transformers. Love it for the recommendations. And yeah, fucking good. Oh, the latest issue. I just got a notification is shipped today, so I can't wait for that to arrive next couple of days because That shit be tight. Nick Decker has become a member. Nick, thank you.
Oh, today is Wednesday. Oh.
Today is Wednesday. Yes, it is. Yes, it is. Adrian Matthews with a $5 says, this is my first super chat. Also, by the way, may Rachel never know what a good acting career is. Oh, well, I think she's going to do that on her own volition there, Adrian. So, you know, whether you wish it upon her or not, I think it's going to fucking happen. That she's never going to know what a good acting career is, by the way. Thank you, by the way. First time super chatter. Jaded Fett with a $20 says, gents, sidebar to a more pleasant topic, not boobs as. Have you seen the trailers for Showa American Story? And if so, would you play it? Last night, I watched the trailer for Showa American Story. I will play that game. I will play that game.
Okay.
It feels like Lollipop Chainsaw mixed with Bayonetta in a zombie apocalypse in America that's now taken over by Japan.
Oh, that's the game. I was trying to have a lot of trouble. Yeah, I've seen some.
And it also feels like what's it called? Dead Rising. There's sort of like Dead Rising elements, but it looks like I would be up for playing that game. Yeah, looks like could be silly fun. Mitchell Fields with a $5 says, what I love is the left. Why don't we have a Joe Rogan or Tim Pool? You did. You attacked them, you kicked them out, and alienated.
That's fair.
Documan with a $5 says, do you mortals believe this Trump human will pass a policy allowing cosmic beings to purchase property in the sky? My cards need promotion, Mr. July.
Well, you can get the third deck of cards.
Whoa, yeah, boy.
In the Blood of Ruth.
Yes. Campaign. Yeah.
So go check that out.
I've already got my everything, so, you know.
There you go.
I don't care. I just get everything. I'm done. I'm done. Quattrina VR has been a member for 14 months. Thank you. And then Quattrina VR with a $2 is Clownfish TV was offered money to make Kamala videos. I bet they jumped at the chance. Star Trek Affiliate with 100 Australian says, hey guys, as I'm up to episode 5 of Dragon Age Fail Guard. The best part so far was your character creation, stunning and brave. 50 for the hoos, 50 for therapy. I can only take 2 to 3 hours at a time due to the concentration needed even watching you solve the puzzles. Yeah, I know, right? Because them puzzles are so difficult.
Very difficult. And the nobody talks you through them or anything.
Oh, no.
Not
no.
Or anything.
Yeah. I mean, you haven't even got to the fucking puzzle before they've told you how to do it.
And he's not joking, by the way, guys.
I'm not even. I am not. I am not.
It's not.
Not
joking.
that it's fucking difficult to work out.
Yeah.
There's like one puzzle in the whole game which made no sense based off the way that they have done those puzzles in the rest of the game.
Yeah.
So that took me like 15 minutes to fucking eventually work out, and it just angered me. Thank you, Star Trekker. Mitchell Fields again with a $10 says, game news. Stellar Blade is doing the long-expected Nier Automata crossover. Yes, they are.
Yep.
PC version may come out in 2025. PC version is expected to introduce the next generation of modders. How to use Unreal Engine 5. Yes.
There's gonna be a lot of people modding the fuck out of that game.
Dude.
Holy shit.
Dude, right? You know how they keep going on about, oh, my, what do they call them? What do they call them games? They talk about because you want to factor them. What do they call them?
Oh shit! Yeah.
What's the term that they use? What's the term that they use about when people fap into sexy video game characters or whatever? What kind of games do they call them? Guna. That's it. Yeah, they call them Guna games. Well, I'll tell you what. Stellar Blade on PC 2025. I am all in for Guna.
Yeah.
I'm Gooner 2025.
2025.
Make Goonie great again, man. I'm a fucking Gooner that face, neck, and chest over Eve.
Oh man.
Johan W with a 20 Swissers achievement unlocked coming out as trans.
Is that can't be a real trophy, is it?
No, I don't know.
Because I'm asking because I wouldn't
real life.
I wouldn't be surprised if it was like that. That's why I'm like saying that like it's believable.
I might have to. Yeah, I managed to even. I was so fucking done with the game. I even managed to piss off Tash in the potential sex scene, so she just walks out on me. It was a good feeling. So I might have to try and fudge it on the second honor that, because apparently that scene is something to behold. So I've been told. And Lakara has been a member for 8 months. Lakara, thank you very much indeed. Eric, is there anything that you would like to plug, sir, before we vanish into the ether of transgenderism gameplay?
I don't know what else. If I'm going to be streaming, like anytime later this week, I'll try, obviously, because we got Horseman that'll be closing out on Monday, and then of course we got Blood Ruth. We're going to keep promoting and doing our thing there. So you should go get all 3 of those. Horseman, grab that before you lose your chance, because I know we're less than 100 CGC copies for each cover. So we anticipate that those are going to sell out. Of course, we have Blood Ruth that recently launched, and Achromatic Chronicles Green over at ripasend.com. You can go grab all 3 of those. Achromatic Chronicles Green is pushing 1,700 books sold there. Oof. So be sure to go grab that at ripasend.com.
Nice. Mr. Tucker Drunk with a membership for 45. As reminder, Chat's mum needs to get out the house more. Yeah, she does. Give her a call, please. I mean, I don't need to give her. Maybe I'll tell her next time she's here in a couple of weeks. Right. I should be back tomorrow, folks, with a whole day of Dragon Age Failtard, finishing off the side quest. So
someone
have to
called
go back.
it, by the way, which was genius, and a stream yesterday called it Drag and AIDS.
Yeah. I have referred to it as Drag Age Failtard.
Yeah.
But Dragon AIDS, Dragon AIDS is a good one. Yeah.
That's pretty fucking good, man.
Yeah.
That's pretty good.
I have no idea, of course, how that relates.
To homosexuality? No, I have no idea there's correlations. I'm just throwing that out there.
No. All I know is that AIDS is airborne. Fauci told me that.
Well, that's what he explained. Yeah. He also absolutely nailed it with COVID too. So God really knows what he's fucking doing.
2 for 2.
2 for 2, bro. Undefeated.
2 for 2, undefeated. So yeah, tomorrow is going to be a whole fucking day, and if we don't finish everything tomorrow, Friday should be the final Dragon AIDS stream. Then I can start working on the video, because I'm going to be doing a whole fucking video on it.
Yeah, look forward
to
that.
Massive thank you to everyone who came to watch today. Mods, thank you so much indeed for giving up your free time. Everybody who super chatted, remembered, gifted memberships, thank you for supporting the channel. I'll be back with some more stuff very soon. Until then, you take care. Bye for now.
Peace.